Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant. Today we are at the next topic, that is first steps in planning, and we are going to look at a case of opposite colored bishops today. See, generally what happens in opposite colored bishop endgames, the advantage of one pawn is not considered that serious one. The reason being, let's say like as a first pawn on the d5 here, if the king and the white's dark squared bishop plan to control the d4 square, no matter what black does, black cannot bring more attacks on d4. See, the bishop is of opposite color, it can never control d4, only the king can control d4. So one pawn up doesn't get converted that easily. We need two circumstances. One is one would like to have an outside passer, which is hard to block, and otherwise one need to have connected pawns. So this whole chapter is based on the concept of converting a good or a winning position. Here white manages to find a simple and a good plan to improve his pieces. White goes g4. Point is simple. See, 3 versus 1 pawn is there. White wants 2 passed pawns, but of which nature? See, black goes kg7 and white never wants to play f5 this way. Of course here the pawn is lost, but otherwise also, let's say bb2 check, king f7, f5. White never wants this kind of pawn structure, because as discussed, what will happen? The h5 and the f7 squares both will get guarded, and this dark squared bishop will do nothing to control the squares which are white colored. So white will not be able to make any more progress. Thus white goes kg3. The king wants to come to h4 and g5, and then either h5 or f5, whichever gives him 2 connected passed pawns. Black went bishop c6, kh4, bishop g2. Now king g5 will be met by bh3. This is what he did. Otherwise white simply gets h4, h5. Now as we discussed, the move f5 would lead to nothing after gf, gf. So white goes a4. He eyes the b6 pawn, and basically this move is to divert this bishop towards the a pawn, because if b6 pawn is simply lost, then the a pawn would just promote. So now black has to take his bishop away and attack the a4 pawn. But white first goes bishop b2 check. He wants to do a4. Now the point is, if king goes to h7, then he will still do a4 perhaps and play bishop d4, and that should help him win very easily. Black goes king f7 and still a4. As I said, the a pawn is used as a diversion to deflect this bishop. bg2, h4, bishop c6, h5. White is not in any hurry to pick these pawns, because see, these pawns are anyway going to be blocked by the b2 bishop. Once the bishop is on either d4 or b4, it handles both these pawns well. G takes h5, king takes h5, bishop a4, f5, bishop d1, stopping g5, king g5, b5, bishop c3. Black now realizes that both his pawns are stuck and there is no defense to the plan. King f4, g5, g6. We will discuss this plan now, because in the game the black player decided to resign. Let us see, if black would play d5, then white's plan becomes very simple. Black just goes king f4, b2, g5, bd1, first g6 check, forcing the king back, and in this case you can see that just f6, and there is no defense to f7 check, king f8, bb4 check, and the f pawn queens. This is one of the disadvantages of having the pawn on d5. The king can simply enter as well. If black wishes to waste moves with the bishop only, with let's say be2, then also king f4, bd1, g5, bb3, g6 check, king g8. We should note that this bishop is now aiming to sacrifice on f7. When f6, f7 comes, bishop into f7 is the only drawing idea. See, white can just go f6, and now see, after bishop a2, he will soon attack the d pawn. Once the d pawn is attacked, it's game over, because after d5 we see that just f7 and the pawn promotes. And even if f7 was not there, black can just play king f8, give up this d6 pawn, kg8. Now see ke5, bb3, bb4, bishop a2, king d6. The point is see very clear. Now there is no defense to ke7 followed by f7. If black goes bb1, then f7 check, king f8 and ke6 check, and the f pawn again wins by force. So from these lines, white's method of converting the position to a win becomes very clear. I thought it was necessary since in the game Botvinnik chose to resign. See, both are greats. One is Viktor Korchinoi and other is Mikhail Botvinnik. So Korchinoi and Botvinnik, both we know, are world champion category players. Botvinnik was the 6th world champion and Korchinoi challenged Karpov in his world championship match, which in fact ended in a draw. So I hope you got something new about the opposite colored bishops from this position. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.